Hi there, I'm Barnaby from Clown Spirit, and today I'm bringing you another clown reaction video, this time from the Croatian comedian Romano D. Franto. Or is it Franto D. Romano? First of all, if you're not part of the Clown Spirit family yet, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button on my channel, and also the notification button if you want to keep on being reminded when I bring out new videos. This performer is quite remarkable, I think. I'd never come across him until very recently, but when his work came to my attention, I was instantly drawn to it. There's something very particular and very crafted about these little short pieces of online video clowning that he's created. His name is Romano D. Franto. He's from Croatia. He describes himself as a musical, eccentric clown, which I love. I love that kind of tradition. And so hit subscribe and let's see what his work looks like.
Evo nas. Opa. Opa. Arhiva. Iz arhive izvlačimo tih godina kada sam radio na njemom filmu. Lake teme. Metafizika, filozofija i smisao. Vidjet ćemo u ovoj epizodi. Opa!
Okay, so we haven't even really got into the act yet, but it's a really intriguing kind of opening there, framing this whole thing. We see Romano himself, presumably, or maybe it's actually a persona, we don't really know. He's opening a briefcase and bringing out this little notebook, and it's almost as though he's reading his own journal from, you know, some past life or work back in the day. And he talks about the silent movies, and even when he's talking, the style changes into black and white and kind of speeds up a little, and the movement of his mouth seems to go out of sync with the words, and I really like that. I feel like I'm kind of moving into some kind of past other world, and things are sort of shifting in an interesting way. And then we get this very upbeat introduction into what comes next. Wow. So I love this. This is, I mean, it's completely unlike anything I've seen before. It's very original. So we're in this kind of backstage dressing room. The show seems to be just finishing, and he's obviously the performer who's come off stage and into his dressing room, but he's obviously, you know, he's a bit tired, weary. Something is going on. He switches his hat for another one that looks identical, and he brings in this big tuba, this big musical instrument, and a little banjo, and hangs it up. So it's kind of interesting because we get to think about, you know, what was the act, you know, what does he actually do. And it feels a bit like we're in the Twilight Zone, right? We're in some weird altered reality. Things start to vanish, And at first he doesn't notice. The hat vanishes, the shoe vanishes, and then the waste paper basket vanishes. The trash can that he's thrown the bottle into vanishes, and the bottle kind of falls onto the floor. And this is the moment where he notices and thinks something is wrong, or sees that something weird is happening. So I'm hooked. I'm like totally. This is very, very strange and interesting, and in a very short space of time, he's captured our attention with something that I feel has an interesting kind of sense of humor to it. It's not laugh out loud, but it's very, very playful, and it's also very mysterious. So let's see what happens next. I also, just as a side note, I love these sound effects. They're very precise. Every time something happens, or that something disappears, or he moves his neck, there are these kind of strange, otherworldly sound effects. And in the background, there's music playing, almost as if it's sped up or reversed. And the whole thing, of course, has this feeling of a black and white, and it's very noirish and very theatrical. I love the light and the shade, and it's very beautifully produced, very specific and precise. Great. And that's it. I think amazing. I mean, okay, so from this moment where he notices something is up and he starts to become a little bit anxious, he's rocking, stretching in his chair, and he falls off the chair and tries to kick the chair. The chair disappears as he kicks it. Then he puts the suitcase there, and he's looking at his tongue as if, what's wrong with me, you know? And there's a kind of rhythmic build from that point. It's getting quicker and quicker, and the movement's more frenetic. He's more concerned, more anxious, getting upset. The suitcase disappears and he falls onto the ground. He reaches for the hat stand, that disappears. He comes back to the dressing table, that disappears. And then everything goes black for a second, which is, you think it's the end, and there's some weird noises, but then the light comes back on and he comes back in. And it's as if there's an impending sense of doom, right? There's something, some force, some power trying to get him, or something happening, and he has to get out of there. So it's like he grabs the tuba and he tries to get out, but before he can get out, he disappears himself. And the beautiful thing is, you're kind of kept guessing what is going to disappear next. You know, what point is he going to disappear? And then it's just the tuba and the door disappears. And I like it. I think that's a nice joke, that the tuba is the one thing that stays at the end. Everything else has disappeared. Very beautiful piece of work. I love this. It's kind of like watching a David Lynch film, like Twin Peaks or something, where you're in this altered reality and things don't really make sense. It's a magical realism, but within its own logic, like a good clown piece, you know, it makes sense. It has its own logic, things disappearing. And it's very much in this tradition of the eccentric, particularly the musical eccentric, although he doesn't play any music, there are musical instruments there. But this tradition of the relationship between a clown and objects, where the objects are misbehaving and won't behave according to how the clown wants them to behave, right? And it's this kind of battle, this back and forth between the human and the object, except that in this case it's taken to another level, because the objects are actually gradually disappearing until there's nothing left at all. So it's a very original take on an old sort of trope, an old conceit, and I love it. Very nice, very original, very interesting work. So thank you so much, Romano, for that. Go and check out his work, Romano D. Franto. You can find him on YouTube. He's got a really cool website as well, with all the different kind of characters and acts and things that he performs. He is a musician as well. So a very talented guy from Croatia. Hope you enjoyed today's clown reaction video. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notifications button so that you'll be notified every time we release a new video. Check out all the other amazing clown reaction videos that are there. And if you would like me to react to something you've created, why not send it to me? Or if you have a recommendation for another clown act or show that you'd like me to react to, just shoot it over to me and I'll be very happy to do that. So thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day and keep clowning.